Alright, welcome back everybody. I'm going to do a quick video here as a follow-up to the installation video of the bagger for the John Deere X350, which is the same on just about any X300 series with a 42-inch deck. So I had a couple people have a couple questions, so I'm just going to go over a couple of the things. No one's had any questions about the hopper side, so I must have done a pretty good job there. It's all just been on the deck side. So the first thing I want to go over is the toe plate right here. Now, this is the original that came stock on the deck, and it needs to get swapped out for one to attach the chute. So it's basically the same thing, but it's got a bracket back here, and it's got a little tube on the front here, and that is what holds in the lower part of this chute. And I'm going to try and do this one-handed, so bear with me. Actually, so the lower chute is this big plastic piece, and it does not come installed with this rod. So the rod needs to get attached. It's a couple of bolts and a couple nuts inside, and it's got a rubber flap that helps seal off onto the deck. So the one end at a 90 degree goes into the tube in the front, and then you need to lift up the discharge chute, and it will fold in a little bit. Then there's this metal guard also on the discharge chute, and then that needs to get lifted up. So then this will rotate in, and then on the other end, the straight end of the rod will get pushed around this rod. Now I have found that using one's foot, you kind of lift up on the chute, and then it fits in behind, like so. And then you want to note that the plastic is making contact, or as close as it can, with the deck, and that usually involves an adjustment here, because this is slotted and it can go back and forth. So that's that end. Then putting in the upper part of the chute. Now this is jacked up, the front end's jacked up because I'm going to show you some bits on the underside. So it kind of messes with the geometry a bit, but you'll get the idea. So the handle end will point towards the rear, and it will slide in. Then there's a notch on this end that needs to go around this rod, and then a bungee to go around it. And that's pretty much that. This bit here, I think I went over in the original video, but I'll go over it again. It's an indicator that you have flow through the chute. So as you're going along, you want to keep an eye on this. So with no material being pulled in, this thing will be all the way in. As it gets a little more restricted, it'll start to go out. Now when it's like that, it's either plugged in the bag, in the hopper end, in here, or I've gone through some thick wet grass a couple times and it'll plug down here. If it's plugged up here, you usually can dig it out with your hand, or most of the time it indicates that the bags are full. But if it's plugged down here, you will need to remove the chute, which with two hands is a lot simpler than I made it out with just now. Another thing I didn't mention, well, I might have mentioned it, but I didn't show it in the install video, was changing the blades out. So the blades do need to get changed, because these blades here on a cross section are relatively flat. And these are designed to simply shoot the grass out the side discharge. Now, high lift blades needed to be installed to make the bagger work properly. Now, these, it's going to be a little hard to see because it's up under the deck. So you'll see there's a much larger tail end on it, and that creates more of a vacuum, so to speak, which not only lifts the grass up and gets a better cut, but it also diverts it all into the chute. I had one comment that they had a big metal piece left over. Now that big metal piece, after going back a few times with the person on YouTube, is this baffle. Now this gets bolted in, a couple down here and a couple on the top. And this, you can see, maybe be able to see, the plastic part of the chute, or part of the chute, wraps around this, and then the other part of the metal blocks off the front. And that creates not really creates, but that diverts the air being created by the blades and further puts it into the chute. So, like I said, there was two down there, and then there's another couple bolts up top here. So, all in all, I'm very happy with the chute. It picks up leaves very, very well. In fact, when I'm done recording, I'm gonna drive around a little bit and pick some up. I've done it once already this season, a couple days ago, and it picked everything up extremely well. My only complaint is the bags are kind of small. Unfortunately, it's the only size you can get for this mower, but that's okay. It's better than raking everything up by hand. So I hope that this answered some people's questions. If it did not, just leave them in the comments below, and I hope to answer them. So I think that's about it. I don't know if I showed this. The bag's coming out. Very simple. There's a tab there. Fits in under this and goes into a cutout there. So again, anyway, I hope this answered some questions. If not, leave them below and I will answer them as best I can. See you guys in the next one.